Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, you already know by the title what we're going to be talking about today. I did a little bit of decluttering. Do you ever just get the urge to declutter your makeup? You know, every time I go in one of these drawers, I see certain products and I'm like, I know for a fact that this is expired. I know for a fact that I don't reach for this product. I know for a fact I don't really love this product. So why is it just here taking up space when I can give majority of the stuff to friends and family? I feel like a lot of times, you know, you see people declutter their makeup collection, but they don't really go into depth why they're decluttering that product. I did the decluttering part already, so I'm just gonna go through majority of these products and let you know why I decluttered them. Let's get a little spicy. Let's talk about some makeup. So without further ado, make sure you grab a snack, grab a drink, and let's get into it. Starting off hot, this is the Urban Decay All-Nighter Hyaluronic Acid Setting Spray. I remember when this first came out and I was so excited about it. I thought this was just gonna be just like the All-Nighter, but the only difference, it has a watermelon scent. I love the watermelon scent to this, but it has a dewy finish. For me, I feel like there's a difference between dewy and glowy. I much prefer my makeup to look glowy than dewy, and I just feel like this combined with my oily skin just does not work out very well for me. So that is why I had to say goodbye to this one. Now this spray is from Benefit. This is the Porefessional Super Setter Setting Spray. To be honest, I just felt like this spray did not do anything for me. The mister is really nice. It's super fine, but even then, I'm just like, it doesn't do much for me. It doesn't really help with the longevity of my makeup. It also is supposed to help blur your makeup as well. I didn't really see that, so yeah, this one had to go. I am getting rid of the Huda Beauty Glowish Primer. I honestly don't even remember when I got this. I know I got it when it first came out, but I don't know how long it's been since I've had this, and unfortunately, Huda Beauty doesn't even have the glowish line anymore, and I definitely feel like the Easy Blur Primer was the replacement to this. I loved this primer, but I just know it needs to go. It's super, super old and you can't even get it anymore. And I definitely wouldn't find myself reaching for this more than the Huda Beauty Easy Blur Primer. These I have to say goodbye to. These are the e.l.f. Soft Glam Satin Foundations. I personally just could not vibe with this. If this was a soft matte formula, I think that I would really vibe with this a lot more. I just feel like this foundation does not wear very well. Yes, the price point is nice. Yes, it does look really pretty when you initially apply it, but I cannot get a good, I'd say like 3-4 hours of wear with this. It's not the most long lasting foundation, and it really does suck that I have to declutter this, but I just hope that this is not the last that we've seen of an $8 foundation in a tube like this from e.l.f. I want a soft matte foundation from them. That would be like one of my dream products from e.l.f., a soft matte foundation, something that's affordable, that has that really nice, beautiful blurred finish. I feel like e.l.f. could do a really good job. I just feel like for me, this just wasn't it. So it's definitely time to let this one go. I wanted to love these. These are the ColourPop So Juicy Click Pin kind of products. You know, every brand has their own version of a product like this, and I just found that these are just so goopy and so melty to where you think you're putting on a little bit, but it really does pile up on the lips. You have to do a lot of removing to get it to look good. I feel like these had potential. I just feel like they're just a little bit too melty for me, so yeah, definitely had to let these go. If we're talking affordable drugstore click pin products like this, I would say the e.l.f. ones are my personal favorite. I think they are cheaper too than the ColourPop ones, but I just found that these are just a little bit too goopy for my liking. This hurts my heart. I don't want to get rid of these, but y'all, I would love for Fenty to come out with more shades in the cream formula. I just feel like the shades that she initially came out with and the shades that I have are just not shades that I would go for. I don't know what I was thinking when I purchased these. I really don't, but I know my mom is going to love these. So I am definitely saving these for her because she loves shades like this. These tones are just not tones that I go for right now. And I just found myself, out of all of the Fenty glosses that I own and all of the formulas from Fenty I own, I just never touch the cream formula. And I honestly wonder if Fenty is going to add more shades in the line because we have not seen a cream formula in a long time. I feel like she does come out with the cream formula in her holiday kits, but other than that, I don't really see releases of those. Unfortunately, I did not love these when these came out. Me personally, I would not have labeled this as a blush. I would have just called these a blush lighter because these are literally the highlighter formula from Rare Beauty, but with blush tones. I just found that these were too glowy and too radiant to be a blush. I felt like the area you would place this just emphasizes a little bit too much texture. With the highlighters, it's a little bit different because it's a little bit more concentrated, more targeted areas. Whereas this is going over the entire cheek. That is a lot of texture that it's emphasizing on me personally. I'm gonna let this one go. I don't find myself reaching for this. I have a lot of blushes. This one just doesn't really stand out in my collection. Two highlighters from ABH I'm letting go of. Personally, I just don't reach for either of these highlighters. This one is the iced out highlighter. What would really be nice is if ABH came out with a highlighter range in this packaging with a ton of different highlighters. You know, because I love the formula of this. It's just this shade is just way too yellow for me. I like more of like that champagne-y kind of gold. This is a very yellow gold, so I don't really reach for this. So I know someone who's going to love this highlighter. Same thing with this one. This is the Glow Seeker highlighter in the shade Sun Idol. We do have multiple shades of this. I just feel like this shade is just a little bit too light for me. And again, I have someone who would get a lot of use out of this highlighter. So yeah, I just rather rehome it to someone who I know would love it. Sadly, I'm decluttering this new product here from Verse. This is the multi-serum skin tint with SPF 40. The only reason why I'm decluttering this is because this shade is too deep for me. This is the shade 12W. I would love to really get a feel for this formula and try this formula out with a shade that matches me a lot better so I can really get a feel for it. I've heard really good things about it. Okay, so this one hurts, and when I was in my blush drawer, I was like, what can I get rid of? What am I not really using anymore, and different things like that. So a lot of factors went into this next product I'm going to show you, and a part of me really doesn't want to declutter this, but I'm like, I have so many blushes, and I just found myself being a little ruthless last night when I was decluttering my makeup. And honestly, from the time that this came out to now, there have been a lot of blush formulas and a lot of really good blush formulas that I honestly just prefer more than this one. These are the Give Beauty blush duos. Before I get into why I'm decluttering this, I have to say my mom owns one of these and she loves it. So I'm going to give her both of these two to add to her makeup bag. She's going to be really excited about having more blush options because she literally only has one blush, and it's the Give Beauty blush duo. I just found that I just have not reached for these over all of the other blush formulas that have come out since then. Even when I did reach for this, I would always go for the powder blush, and it's a little bit interesting to me because I have powder blush shades in my collection that look just like both of these, and unfortunately you can't get these anymore. I think you can probably still get it on the Give website, but honestly, I have no idea what is happening with Give, if the brand is still going to continue to be a brand. I know that they're no longer in Sephora, so I just don't know what's happening. Even then, I would only be able to use these on my own time, and that's going to be very rare. A couple of products that are old, I'm just going to go through really quickly. The Makeup Forever Grayness Reducing Primer. I love this primer. I'm definitely going to repurchase this because, hello, mine is old. I've had this primer since I was living with my parents. This had to go. This is also really old. I think I've had this over 2 years or close to 2 years, so this definitely has to go. When it comes to more like primers and foundations and things like that, I don't like to keep those for years because it's going all over my face. Powder products, I'm a lot more lenient with, but when it comes to products that are liquid or cream like this, I'm a little bit more hesitant. e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer, also really old, but I also found that I don't really reach for this primer anymore. e.l.f. has so many good primers, and honestly, my favorite primer from e.l.f. is the Power Grip Matte Primer, or just any of the Power Grip primers. So I reach for those over this one, but if you want a nice, smooth, poreless base, go for the liquid one, not the putty one in the container. I'm letting go of the ColourPop liquid blushes. Unfortunately, I feel like this formula is just a little bit too oily for me. I don't know if you can tell, but it's a little oily because it leaks. And these were stored upright, but the formula is just feels kind of oily. It looks kind of oily, so I'm gonna let these go. This is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Press Powder. I did not love this when I tried it. I tried it a couple of times, and honestly, I don't know how this is a pressed powder because it's so glowy. You can't really use this under the eyes. All over the face, you will really see that glow. So me, I found the best way to apply it is like a highlighter, putting it in the places you would put highlighter, but honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of this. I really have to try to make it work, and I don't really want to do that. It just emphasizes a lot of texture because of how glowy this is. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter in the shade 6.5. Just decluttering this because it's super, super old. Mine has a really weird smell. smell, but I know that this is really, really old. So I'm just gonna declutter this one. I'm getting rid of these from ABH. These are the lip velvets. Lip velvets? Yeah. These are the lip velvets. I'm just gonna declutter these to my mom. She's going to live for these. I just feel like none of the shades that I own, not even like with a lip liner or anything, it just kind of gives powder donut vibes, and I just cannot get any of these shades that I own to work. I'm sure there are shades that work in the line, but the ones that I have, unfortunately, just don't really work for me, so I'm just letting those go. I'm letting go of this mini Hydro Grip spray, but I'm also letting go of the dupe. These just give a dewy finish to my makeup, and I don't really love how that looks. So I'm just gonna declutter this to someone who I know is going to love it. More products that are old. This is the cream bronzer from NARS in the shade Laguna 5. I've had this for a very, very long time, and honestly, it's not even really bronzery vibes. It's more contoury vibes for me, so I would love to see more shades in this line from NARS. I feel like now would be the perfect time. Now this I had to let go of. This shade is just way too light for me. This is the Rhode Pocket Blush in the shade Juice Box. It's very, very light for me. On camera right here, it might look like it works, but when you blend this out, it is very ashy. It has like this white cast when you blend it out on the cheek, so this shade just didn't work for me. Also letting go of these Tower 28 blushes. I really do like this formula. These are just super, super old. I've had these for a very, very long time, so it's just time to refresh. Same thing with this. I definitely am going to repurchase this. This is the Say bronzer in the shade Deep Bronze. Mine is just really old. You can tell how much I love this. I have made quite the dent in mine, but I've had this for a very long time. I've also decluttered these Trigwell setting powders. These two shades just didn't work for me. This is the shade Pink in the shade 3, so I'm just gonna let these two go. Now this formula from Wet n Wild is one of the best highlighter formulas at the drugstore, but unfortunately this shade is just a little bit too light. It's the shade Golden Flower Crown. If I can get my hands on a shade that works for me, I definitely will. But this is just a little bit too light for me. Every time I use it, it kind of gives me like this cast. So I'm just gonna let this go. There's no sense in keeping this in my collection. If I can't really use it, I'd rather give it to someone who can. But I'm telling y'all, this is one of the best drugstore highlighter formulas. This might really ruffle some feathers, but I have to let this go. I just don't love this product. I'm just gonna give this away to a friend, but this is the Pat McGrath Sublime Under Eye Powder. I have mine in the shade Yellow. I just can't find myself to love this product. I just don't really feel like it does anything for me. I really don't know if it's this tone that just doesn't work for me or what. I do wish there was more shades in the line, but I just feel like this shade just does not look good on me, so letting it go. I'm decluttering this primer from Rare Beauty. This is the Pore Diffusing Primer. I have a lot of primers that blur the pores, and this one I just find myself not reaching for a lot. It has a very, very interesting texture, but I'd rather just give this away to someone who I know will get a ton of use out of this, so that is why I'm letting this go. NYX Marshmallow Setting Spray. This smells so good, but it does absolutely nothing for me. I don't find that this helps with the longevity of my makeup or anything like that. I just think it's a fun spray to spray because of the scent, but I don't know, I just don't find that this helps with the longevity or anything with my makeup, so I am going to declutter this, give this away to someone who may enjoy it a little bit more than me. That is all the makeup that I've decided to declutter out of my collection recently. If you haven't seen my eyeshadow palette declutter, I'm going to put it in a card above if you want to see me declutter some eyeshadow palettes. I really tried to wait until the end of the year to declutter my makeup collection, but honestly, I just couldn't help myself. But I hope you all enjoyed today's video. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye guys.